Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Meiji, and today we are talking about how overthinking ruins relationships. Overthinking doesn't ruin relationships because of your thoughts. It ruins them because of how you start acting because of those thoughts. So comment down below if you relate to any of these. Like I always say, comment down below if you relate to any of these. Make sure you guys subscribe. When you're overthinking about something, you're overanalyzing something, you start to believe your own story. Even if the person doesn't tell you this is the fact, you just analyze everything and you just go with what you think, and that's that. And then you start ruining your own relationship because maybe your thoughts were wrong. Maybe your assumptions were also wrong. Sometimes it's right, but that doesn't mean that all the time when you're thinking of something or you're having assumptions, they're going to be correct majority of the time. You are human. You are going to make mistakes. When you overthink, you stop looking at what's really happening and you start creating your own version of it. For example, they start taking longer to respond. Then your mind is like, oh my gosh, something is off. Something doesn't seem right. They sound a little different. Then you're starting to think, okay, maybe they're losing interest in me. The problem with that is none of those things were confirmed. You're reacting to a made up story. It's all in your head. You start feeling before the truth. Once you start believing your own story, that's when your feelings start to follow. Now you're feeling anxious. Now you feel unsure. Now your energy is different, but nothing actually happened. Like nobody confirmed that this is the truth or your assumptions were right. So you're just believing a false story and you are feeling something that shouldn't be felt because it's not even true. Does that make sense? I feel like you can't feel some type of way when it's not even confirmed or denied. So this is you ruining your own relationship because you're creating your own story. Then it follows up with the feelings that you're feeling, which I understand maybe your feelings can be valid, but the truth isn't even there. Like you haven't even confirmed it. You haven't even made sure this was sure or this was true before you start feeling some type of way. I feel like you have to actually ask the person or find hard evidence before you start feeling some type of way, because then you're basically ruining your own relationship, because then your man or your girl is going to be like, well, I never said this never happened, or I never even thought of it this way. You got it totally different. Like this is a whole different story. I don't even know where you got this story from. And then you're just there like, oh, I just assumed. Okay, I was thinking that you did X, Y, and Z. And it's like, you are messing up your own relationship without you realizing, because you're over analyzing everything. It's not that deep. And it may be deep to you, but it's like you want to ask before it becomes a deeper issue. Okay, you're feeling something without realizing what the real deal is or what the real problem is. I feel like you first have to identify what the real problem is. And it's not that hard to open your mouth and ask your man like, hey, what were you doing at this time? Or what were you doing? And then find your evidence, and then you can go ahead and feel some type of way. But you can't just feel some type of way to a story that you made up and then expect your partner to be like, oh yay, it's okay, it's a mistake. Like 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, it's a mistake. But then if you're continuously making stories up in your mind, I feel like that's you being delusional, and you're also going to mess up your relationship without you realizing. Because how are you making up stories in your head and expecting people to just let it slide each time? It gets to a point, especially if you have a mature man. People don't have time for these type of stories. If you're going to be making up things in your mind, people don't have time for that. The third thing is behavior starts to change. This is when your behavior starts to affect the relationship, because now you're moving based off of your assumptions. Okay. You start to pull back to protect yourself. There's no need for you to pull back because you haven't even found out what the answer or what the truth was. You start asking a lot of questions for reassurance. I understand you could reassure your partner and all that, but if you constantly want that reassurance because you're making up false stories or you're just overthinking about your relationship, there's no need for me to be reassuring you, because these are your assumptions. You start asking a lot of questions for reassurance, or you come off a little tense without even realizing it. You start becoming snappy with your partner or having attitude each time, and it's like, why are you starting to change your behavior because of your thoughts that's going in your mind? I feel like people just overthink for no reason. There's no need for you to overthink things. The last thing is it creates distance. When you start creating so many false stories and then you are believing that it's true and your partner is telling you that it's not true, it starts to put some type of barrier between you and your partner, because who wants to be with people that make things up in your mind and it's like, this is not even who I am, this is not what I was thinking, this is not what I do. Like imagine someone is just accusing you for something that you really never did, or you never thought of, or you just didn't do. The only reason why they're accusing you is because you're overthinking about that situation. That gets annoying. So I feel like that's when it starts to create distance, because it's like nobody wants to be with someone that just assumes every single thing. Comment down below if you've ever done these things. I'm gonna relate to, I need to see which one I relate to, because I don't know. I feel like I could relate to this, feeling something before actually seeking the truth, because I don't ask questions. I think back then I used to feel a feeling because I feel something is not right and not communicate. And then it would like, then like my partner would be like, what's going on? Why are you mad? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't know, like I just was believing my own, assumption before actually explaining or talking to my man about it. So I feel like the second one is something that I relate to. Comment down below which one you relate to. But I stopped doing that though. Now I just say exactly how I feel, because it's not like, it's not a bad thing. I think the reason why I start feeling before like asking for the truth is because it's kind of like when you're vulnerable, it's hard to like, tell someone like, hey, this is how I feel. Because it's like, why do you feel this way? Like, I don't know. Comment down below. Like, what do you guys think? When I used to text my man or whatever the case may be, and he was taking a long time to answer, I was assuming that he was like talking to his friends or he just didn't care. And that wasn't even the case. Like he was actually working. And then I was like, oh, I didn't know. So I feel like this can relate to a lot of people, because it's like sometimes when you think something because you've seen like a pattern or you've seen it in your face, like sometimes it's actually the wrong thing. Like you're over here thinking that, oh, this person doesn't really care, or he's not texting back fast enough because, he's doing something else, but he's actually busy. He's actually working, or, maybe he's doing something important. Who knows? But you just start feeling some type of way before actually knowing the truth. So I feel like the second one, I could relate to that one. Comment down below which one you relate to the most, but I think the second one, I could relate to that. Yeah. And then the third one is like, if you feel some type of way, then you start to be like, you know what, because I feel this way, I'm just gonna like put in space between me and my partner. Because it's like, why am I going to talk to you if I feel some type of way about something that I don't know the truth to? Get what I'm saying? So I feel like this one too I could relate to that too, creating distance. Because sometimes people feel some type of way and they're just like, you know what, because you treat me like this, or because I feel like you didn't answer fast enough, or you didn't call me back, I'm just not gonna like talk to you or anything. I'm gonna wait for you to call me back. And then when they wait like hours to call you back, it's just like, you don't want to talk to the person, because it's like, you already, pissed me off, or you did something I didn't like. But I didn't also try to find the truth. I didn't try to figure out like what the issue was before feeling some type of way. So I feel like people can relate to this, but I want you guys to comment down which one you guys can relate to. This is how overthinking can ruin your relationship. And I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next. Bye, bye, bye. Ciao, ciao.